All right, everybody, and thanks for tuning into the Smash News Network least busted name in news. This is the magnetic environment section. We're going to cover things like sunspots, coronal holes, and magnetometers, and the heliospheric current sheet, and more. Here's the GOES magnetometer readings over the past 3 days. Nothing too exciting happening there. Earth remains in a South Pole current sheet. There is a North Pole current sheet headed this way. You can see that there in green. Yeah, the plasma coming out of the sun is oriented to one pole or the other. Earth is currently in a South Pole-oriented current sheet. Here's a line-of-sight view. It also includes the solar magnetogram, lots of activity, and it looks nothing at all like a grand solar minimum. Here's the line-of-sight coronal hole plot. These blue lines here are the potential field surface source lines of the sun's B field, and you can see another very large trans-equatorial North Pole-oriented coronal hole here rotating in. And we'll be covering it. Here's a visual from the SDO. There was a C-class flare that happened in the past 24. It was sort of a long-duration flare. And there was a coronal mass ejection. Watch our later video to see whether or not it's earthly directed. So here's your intensitygram. Sunspots have been mostly stable here over the past 24 hours. One thing is this sunspot up here, the one that produced the M-class flare, has degraded slightly. We've got about 6 sunspot groups. We've covered coronal holes, magnetism, now sunspots. Here's 1700 angstroms. Again, mostly stable here over the past day. And here you can see getting up to 7 sunspot groups there on the detected flare probability monitor there. One point where we saw 7 named groups. There are some new active regions rising over the eastern limb. We'll be keeping you posted on that as well. Next, flaring, and you can see this C-class long-duration flare. The peak flux of that was around 2030 Universal Time yesterday on January 16th. If you want to go take close-up imagery of that, it was sort of in the south-central region, a little bit to the western portion. It did not cause any relativistic particles to make it here to Earth. There is still a slightly elevated coronal hole high-speed stream coming in. Current solar wind parameters are 549 kilometers per second for the solar wind speed. Solar wind density a little under 12 protons per cubic centimeter. There were some sporadic pulses of higher speed solar wind here, making it all the way up to about 630 kilometers per second. At least 629 kilometers per second. Some sporadic pulses of higher speed wind there, otherwise fairly unremarkable on the solar wind front. KP index only at 2. And the conditions have been calming down over the past 3 days. Next, Earth's Geospace magnetosphere movie. Earth's magnetic moment from space out to about 12 Earth diameters. It's 4 hours of data, the most recent, courtesy University of Michigan. Plasmaspheres are clearing out a little bit here. And the plasmaspheres are these little empty spaces around here on the dawn and dusk side of the planet. Next, ground magnetic perturbations, 4 hours of data also. Not a lot of aurora expected at the moment. This is Earth's magnetic moment from the ground level. The last units were nanopascals. This is nanotesla, which is magnetic flux density. Next, if you're interested in what is where in the solar system, keep in mind this is not to scale. Happy full moon. We're right near the full moon, it looks like. Looks like full moon day today. Let's advance this 1 week to show you the 1 week solar system forecast. And Mercury swinging around to blow past the Earth and Venus. Next, we brought up a star chart. This is what's going on over Lehigh Valley at the moment. If you're up before dawn, you may see Mars rising ahead of the sun. Or perhaps even Venus, the third brightest object in the sky. Next, coronal mass ejection watch. Let's make it a warning. Here's the view from stereo A and from the Soho Lasco C2, rather C3. There's the C3 coronagraph. There's the stereo A coronagraph. Stereo A located here at Lagrange 5. Lasco Soho C3 located here at Lagrange 1. And the coronal mass ejection expected to miss Earth. Keep in mind there was one out here at the same time, making it look a little bit more earthly than it might be. We're expecting a miss to the northwest of the one on the Earth side. And when we forecast coronal mass ejections, we're doing it on this side of the sun, not on this side of the sun, because Earth is off in this direction from the perspective of stereo A. We discovered accidentally that we could forecast coronal mass ejections, so we've decided to do it. It seems kind of important. So there's our coronagraphs for today's video. And we'll have one more video premiering after this. It'll include information about the ionosphere, Earth's electron flux, and our regularly done bonus features. Thanks for tuning in, folks. Congratulations on realizing that the channel exists. Don't forget to press like and subscribe. Press share, as we need your help getting the content on the monitors. I've been your host, Dan, a.k.a. smAsho, signing off from the Smash News Network, least busted name in news.